Are you age 60, married, maybe about $1 million saved for retirement, could have kids on their own or finishing up their undergrad? Well, here's some questions you should be asking yourself that you should be able to answer with confidence so that you can go into retirement with peace of mind. First off, is $1 million enough? Do you need to have more saved, or are you already overfunded for retirement? And what about inflation? If you have enough today, will it be enough in 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years? What about Social Security? Do you take it at the first possible moment at age 62? Do you wait for full retirement age at 67? Or do you postpone to 70 for the maximum benefit? And what about your pension? Do you take the full amount? Or do you take a reduced amount so that your spouse gets something after you're gone? Or maybe take the full amount and buy life insurance so that your spouse gets that after something happens to you. Or possibly you could roll over your pension to an IRA. That way you have control of the principal and choice of the investments. And what about the stock market? What if it's going to crash? How's that going to affect your retirement? Or maybe the stock market's already currently crashing. How much more could it go down? And how will that affect your lifestyle in retirement? What if interest rates drop? That could negatively affect your portfolio or possibly help it. And what if interest rates go up? Same thing. It could help or hurt. Which situation are you in? And there's always taxes to consider. What about taxes? Taxes might be going up in the future, or maybe in your situation, they could be going down. Will you owe income tax or capital gains tax on your investments when you go to withdraw them? Are there any accounts that you can withdraw from tax-free? What about Roth IRAs? Should you do a Roth conversion? Maybe a partial or a full? And then there's always health concerns as well. What about health insurance? If you retire, what will you do about health insurance? Can you extend through your current employer? If yes, for how long? And how much would that cost? Or do you buy health insurance through the exchange? And what are the thresholds in terms of income? Because if your income is over certain thresholds, it becomes very expensive to try to buy through the exchange. What about just buying health insurance on your own? How do you even do that? What would it cost and what would it cover? And what about Medicare? When could you be eligible to be covered by Medicare? And what does that cost and what does it cover? Medicare does not have very much in terms of benefits for long-term care, when you're not so sick as to be in the hospital but not well enough to do everything on your own. How do you pay for long-term care? Can they take away your investments or your house or your car if you don't have coverage for it? The estate planning issues. What should your will say? And what shouldn't your will say? And what about a trust? What can a trust do? And what can a trust not do? Is a trust right for your situation, and what are the possible costs? And what about death taxes? How do you minimize them? Which death taxes would apply to you? And then there's your kids. How do you make sure they get along after you're gone? Especially if one of your kids has special needs. How do you make sure that child is cared for? How do you make sure they don't lose their benefits? Or maybe your spouse is not the parent of your children and this is a second marriage. How do you care for your spouse without disinheriting your kids? What if after you die, your spouse ends up needing long-term care? How do you prevent that from eating up your kids' inheritance? Or what if after you die, your spouse just decides they want to name their own beneficiaries, which aren't your kids? How do you prevent that from happening? Hi, I'm Matthew Taylor, founder of Taylor Retirement Services and Taylor Securities. I'm a certified financial planning professional with over 30 years experience, helping you get the answer to these questions and more. If you'd like a complimentary consultation or to ask a question, please give us a call.